My name is Justin McRoberts, and I am the host of the At Sea podcast. This is a clip from episode 7 of that podcast featuring our guest, David Bazan. In this clip, David talks about success, what it looks like to actually create something that really does work and then have to move on and create something else. And in that light, the role that reputation plays. When it's time to do the job today, but people want to think about what you had done yesterday. Enjoy the clip, but also check out the full interview by either visiting atseaevents.com or going to iTunes and searching the words At Sea, A-T-S-E-A, or my name, Justin McRoberts. One of our other podcast guests, a guy named Busby, he writes songs for like pop stars.
Word, okay, different.
So like Kelly Clarkson and
Word.
Keith Urban and this
Yeah.
crowd. And he talks about specifically as a pop songwriter, because that's his job. That in art we talk about the fear of failure, and the fear of failure keeps you from doing things. But then we talk about kind of this fear of success, because he will have had this remarkable success of a song, and then wonder about the next thing. Like once you've reached that moment. So as an example, he wrote this is one of his first major hits. He wrote the song "Try."
Yeah.
The Pink song "Try."
Oh shit, yeah.
It's a great song, right?
Totally.
And then like he's like at that peak, and he's looking on the other side of the mountain and wondering like, is that it? Am I done?
Yeah.
Like, is this as good as it gets? I'm wondering if you've kind of lived in that space. I mean, you talked about the album, you talked about the Control album as an example.
Yeah.
Like I'm just imagining, and I could be dead wrong here, but I'm imagining like standing like at that point and looking at that, like the tribal response to that record. Because he even, was it 2 or 3 years ago?
2012.
You retoured.
And that was the most successful Bazan tour by far. I mean, it was a really clear indication that brand name and that record
Really hit.
are something that people respond to.
Does it come with, is there an anxiety that comes with that to like hit something, or do you just kind of hit something and you move on, you drop it, and it is what it is, and you're on to the next thing?
Yeah, on to the next thing. I mean, for me, the way that I felt about the Control tour is that I hoped that it could achieve something real every night, because the possibility that it's just a reference to something in the past only, or sort of like doing karaoke of a thing, is really real. I mean, it's the way that most of those things tend to go. Yeah. And I just am so not interested in that. So that was the trepidation that I felt. So I felt really grateful at moments. I'm picturing the moment at the Neptune at the end of the tour, and where I just thought, this is for real right now. Like we're inhabiting these tunes in a way that is not about the past at all. It's about what's happening right now. And so I guess I'm just really grateful when I can find that, because I'm like the dick in art school who like just like, we can't do this because it's the same as the thing before, you know, like, and I'm not saying that out loud. I just have this, I'm just pushing.
So in other words, like you're not seeing, you're actually seeing, I think it's what you're communicating. You're seeing your work, like your body of work, rather than the individual work. There's a body of work you're putting together,
the body.
And like Controls as one record, Branches as one record, and there's moments in this longer process. And great, this is a bigger moment, but it's a moment among many.
And reputation is worthless to me. Like if this coffee shop that I'm about to pay $4 for this cup of coffee has the best reputation in town, and yet I can pay $4 3 times in a row and not get a transcendent cup of coffee, who fucking cares about the reputation? Yeah. And that's how I feel about myself. It causes me to be really hard on myself and a little bit judgmental, but I'm learning how to remove the judgment from it and still have that ethic. That the idea is that you do the thing now. You do the thing now. That you could do it in the past is the reason why people are there, but the reason why they're there is for you to do something now. So to have had a success gives you kind of permission to believe, like, if I did that then, I can do it again. I can do something new now. And I think that is rare, unfortunately rare among artists. Well, because there is oftentimes that sort of that more so like, I hit this thing, it went really well, I don't know if I can do that again. That tends to be more of what I hear. Well, you do. And every record, like every singer, songwriter, every artist or whatever, I just thought, I don't think I can write songs again. For 10 records in a row, I felt that. Where you get done with the record and you just think, how's this going to work? And it's sort of like, Moses in the desert. It's just like, you lack faith, you learn the lesson. You lack faith, you learn the lesson. How long did it take for those guys to learn that lesson?
Right.
Rolling around in the desert before they got into the promised land. So I just feel like, you gotta, eventually you've got to look at the data and let that data get you to the precipice, and then bridge it with faith every time. Just know, like, it always feels crazy and like I can never do it again, but I've never not done it. So at some point I just have faith that this is how it works. And then I can interact with that insecurity in a way that's now a part of the process and not an inhibitor. Man, it's funny. I realized, like, one of the things that the Bible and the Christian tradition did for me more than anything else is that way of interacting with counterintuitive data.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That the story of Moses and the Israelites in the desert for all that time.
Kind of like almost like a wise, responsible believing against perception.
Yeah, that there's perception and then there's reality that sort of underlies that it can be a little bit misleading, or the relationship can be a little mysterious and confusing, and to really try to look at those deeper dynamics and to learn those lessons. I just remember over and over again thinking, like, Moses, like hearing those stories as a kid, being like, when are you going to wake up, buddy? Like, when are you going to come, learn your lesson, basically? When are you going to listen to the deeper things happening here? And that's still the lesson.
Yeah, and then you find yourself in that place and you realize it's actually harder to believe that.
It's really hard.
To believe that this is going to work out.
But to know that lesson and to see how difficult it is. I mean, that's the thing. That's the beauty of that story is it is a difficult dynamic, and it's presented as such. It seems impossible. You know what I mean? Like, he's so thick-headed. He so fundamentally misunderstands the power that he possesses, that he has access to in this myth or reality. Either way, it's just really not the point for my mind.
Yeah.
And so to understand that and to know, like, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel crazy when you strike this balance, when you step into this. It's like standing in the ocean. I mean, it feels, it's like being in a cage with a wild animal when you're in the thing, you're doing it. It's like, it's scary. Yeah. You have, all of a sudden your hands are on the controls and you can really make or break a thing. Yeah.
And it's the breaking that's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
but you break it over and over again, and then you rebuild it. And it's that kintsugi notion where, show your work, man. Yeah. That's the other thing, that people don't want to look like a fool. You do. You can't help it. You got to get cool with that.
And you look more a fool if you're trying not to.
Oh, yeah. We see it over and over again. Washed up people trying to put that same posture on. Yeah. Fuck, man. It's so embarrassing. And so that's what keeps you from, like, I would rather be a fool
in the process,
having found my combination in the wilderness with nobody listening to me, than to be delusional. Yeah. You know what I mean? Way rather that.
Check out the full interview by either visiting @cevents.com or going to iTunes and searching the words @C, ATSEA, or my name, Justin McRoberts.